Blue eyes. Let's start with blue eyes, often linked to softness, sensitivity, and even innocence. That's why blue eyes have long been symbolized as a mark of divine favor or angelic qualities in art and folklore. Not because they're weak, but because they seem emotionally exposed. But here's the twist. Blue eyes are a genetic mutation that appeared 10,000 years ago. Before that, they didn't exist, and they're not actually blue. Blue eyes happen when light enters a low melanin iris, scatters, and reflects short blue wavelengths, the same illusion that makes the sky look blue. Because blue eyes reflect more light, people subconsciously read them as open and emotionally visible. Studies suggest blue eyes can trigger protective instincts in others, making people feel vulnerability, even when none is actually there. That's the paradox. Blue-eyed people are often trusted faster, underestimated more easily, and given emotional leniency, even though history is full of blue-eyed conquerors and warriors. Blue eyes signal visibility, and visibility quietly changes how people treat you. Brown eyes. Brown eyes are the most common eye color in the world, making up over 70% of the global population. You see them everywhere. But have you ever wondered how they affect how people see you? Brown eyes have high melanin, a pigment that absorbs light instead of scattering it. That absorption creates depth, warmth, solidity. In many cultures, brown eyes have been connected to the earth and ancestral wisdom, symbolizing a deep connection with the natural world. When someone looks into brown eyes, they tend to feel safe, but not fully certain. It's a calm presence with a closed door behind it. You don't reveal much, and that makes people assume you know more than you say. That's why brown-eyed people often become the default leader in groups. Not the loudest voice, just the most grounded one. People gravitate toward you without realizing why. You don't sparkle, you anchor. And that quiet, steady energy shapes how people treat you, like gravity doing its work without ever announcing itself. Green eyes. Less than 2% of the world has green eyes, and that rarity alone shifts perception. Green eyes come from a precise balance. Enough melanin to avoid blue, not enough to become brown, combined with scattered light and yellow pigment. The result is a color that shifts depending on light, surroundings, and even facial expression. That unpredictability creates tension. People often perceive green-eyed individuals as mysterious, emotionally intense, and slightly dangerous. In a compelling way. Like you're always one move ahead, and no one's fully sure what you're thinking. That's why green eyes appear so often in folklore. Witches, spies, and enchantresses were almost always described with green eyes, not by accident. Your gaze doesn't invite comfort, it invites curiosity. People don't just look at you, they study you. And that subtle sense of intrigue keeps attention locked in longer than you realize. Hazel eyes. Hazel eyes are the wild card. They're a mix of brown, green, and gold, constantly shifting depending on light, clothing, and even mood. And people subconsciously interpret that shift as emotional range. Scientifically, hazel eyes sit right in the middle of the melanin spectrum. Moderate pigment. Balanced light scattering. But psychologically, that balance creates ambiguity. People tend to project onto hazel-eyed individuals. They assume flexibility, expressiveness, depth, sometimes more than is actually there. You don't fit into one category, and that keeps people guessing. Hazel eyes give main character energy with a plot twist. People feel like there's more coming, even when you're standing still. Gray eyes. Gray eyes feel unreal. They look like fog, steel, or smoke, almost colorless but impossible to ignore. Gray eyes are a rare variant of blue, with even less melanin. Instead of reflecting warmth or brightness, they scatter light into a cool, silvery tone. That lack of warmth changes perception instantly. People often read gray eyes as controlled, intelligent, and emotionally contained. There's a stillness there that makes others hesitate. Not because you're cold, but because you're unreadable. Gray-eyed individuals often command respect before they speak. In mythology, gray eyes were associated with figures who could see beyond the ordinary, often linked to seers, prophets, or even gods with the ability to foresee the future. You don't explain yourself. You don't overreact. Your calm does the talking. Amber eyes. Amber eyes stand out instantly. They announce themselves. Shimmering in gold, copper, and burnished yellow. Amber eyes come from high levels of lipochrome, a pigment also found in wolves, eagles, and big cats. That's why amber eyes were often linked to shapeshifters and watchers in old legends, figures that existed between human and animal. Those with amber eyes are often perceived as intense, magnetic, and slightly untamed. People don't glance at amber eyes. They watch them. There's an instinctive reaction, like something ancient just entered the room. Not fear, awareness. You don't look familiar. You look powerful. Black eyes. Black eyes aren't truly black. They're extremely dark brown, so saturated with melanin that almost no light reflects back. To the brain, that absence of reflection reads as depth without access. These eyes absorb light like ink or obsidian, giving off an intense, unwavering gaze. People often perceive extremely dark eyes as authoritative, private, and emotionally impenetrable. There's no easy read, no emotional leakage. People sense there's more beneath the surface, but they're not sure they're meant to see it. You don't reveal, you hold, and that alone makes you unforgettable. And finally, heterochromia. A rare condition where each eye, or even parts of one eye, display different colors. Heterochromia isn't about adaptation or survival. It's about genetic variation, small developmental quirks that break visual rules. People with heterochromia are often perceived as unconventional, artistic, or otherworldly. Not because of personality, but because the eyes don't follow expectations. Some people feel fascination, others feel unease. Either way, attention locks in. If you have heterochromia, you don't just stand out. You disrupt pattern recognition, and humans are wired to remember disruptions. You're not just seen, you're remembered. Eye color isn't just pigment, it's perception. And long before you speak, the world is already reacting to what it thinks it sees. So, which eye color do you have? And how do you think it changes the way people treat you? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more.